Well, there are so many challenges, but there are also opportunities. I think the number one challenge today is the geopolitical framework, which keeps changing daily. We have the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. We have the opening of the Strait of Hormuz. We have other narrow passageways, such as the Strait of Malacca. One side says it will always remain open. The other side says they want to consider a toll. So I think the geopolitical framework on many different levels. We have the tariffs that the United States government issued last year, and we'll see what happens in the fall with the release of the agreement between China and the U.S. on tariffs. So there's a lot happening, but again, it's not just a challenge, it's an opportunity. Well, the first thing we have to recognize that people outside the industry don't have a conception of the industry. They're not aware of the value that shipping provides to everyday life. They don't understand that shipping is the engine of global trade. And without shipping, with no shipping, no shopping. So that's the one thing we all have to understand, and it's a collective responsibility to share the good work that shipping does. But for those that have any conception about shipping whatsoever, there's a belief that once we sail over the horizon, that we're unregulated. That is so untrue, because the shipping industry is one of the most highly regulated industries in the world. It's one of the safest, it's certainly the most efficient. Well, first I have to say that I believe structure and discipline are critically important on board vessels. But I think the culture within that structure and within that discipline needs to change. I think it's important for us to be more transparent and more honest about what really happens on board ships. For instance, I know of a tanker that's sailing now, and everyone on board knows that the weak link is the first engineer. But they're unwilling to do anything about it because they can't replace that first engineer. So there's a ship that has a culture that is demising because of that individual, yet they're unwilling to declare it because that individual at the moment cannot be replaced. But he goes from ship to ship. And because he's a first engineer, he continues to get employment. But at the same time, he's not the best suited for that position. Our maritime administrator, Captain Steve Carmel, said, there may be a shortage of seafarers, but the real issue is fit for purpose. And this individual is not fit for purpose. Another cultural change is embracing having women on board and in our industry. We are denying ourselves the opportunity to access more than 50% of the world's population because we have not yet really integrated women into our industry. Right now, there's a training ship on the water sailing where the sexual harassment is rampant, but the SASH officer is unwilling to report it, again, because the officer who's perpetrating it, they can't find a replacement. We have to make more accommodations for our mariners, for incorporating women. And then when you get into risk, we have a mariner shortfall in our industry. It's expected to be 90,000 by the end of this year. Yet we're not taking care of our mariners, and culturally, I think we have to do a better job of that. We have to be better connected with our mariners, and I think it's important for us to do a better job of assessing their well-being. I think it's important for all maritime stakeholders to recognize we are in a unique ecosystem. We have to build that ecosystem where we're not in silos, but rather we're working collaboratively and cooperatively together. We're one industry made of many different stakeholders, but we need to act as one industry.